Of course, it quickly became her party vehicle, but I let it slide. She's a teenager, after all. What matters is that she's safe. With her newfound freedom, expenses naturally increased. She insisted she needed new outfits for every event, high-quality makeup, and accessories. The $100 weekly allowance turned into $200, then eventually $300. I know it sounds like a lot, but she's my only daughter, and I want her to have everything I didn't. Besides, she's responsible. She uses my credit card only for emergencies, though for her, an emergency might mean a new dress or concert tickets with friends. Stacy also began inviting her friends over more frequently, which I welcomed. I wanted her to feel comfortable at home and enjoy her life. I even allowed her to use my office for private parties, as long as she told me in advance. Once, I had to cancel an important meeting because she needed the space to film a project with her friends. I didn't mind. Work can wait, but moments with my daughter are precious. As time went on, she started hinting at wanting to travel abroad alone. At first, I thought it was too soon, but after some convincing, I funded a trip to Europe for her and two of her friends. It was expensive, but worth it. Stacy came back seemingly more mature, or at least I convinced myself of that. After the trip, she mentioned wanting to live on her own. It was a bittersweet moment. The thought of her leaving gave me a lump in my throat, but I knew I had to support her. I even offered to buy her an apartment, but she laughed and said she wasn't ready to be away from me just yet. Honestly, I was relieved. She's still my little girl. With Alice out of the picture, some family members started voicing their concerns. My sister told me I was spoiling Stacy, and a few friends suggested I needed to set stricter boundaries. I thought their opinions were ridiculous. I wasn't spoiling my daughter. I was just being a good father. They didn't understand the special bond we shared. Alice, on the other hand, kept trying to maintain contact because of our baby. Every conversation turned into a fight about Stacy. Alice claimed Stacy was manipulating me to keep control. When she suggested that Stacy was acting out of jealousy, I shut down the conversation. Last week, Alice messaged me to say our daughter had been born and asked for financial help as she was struggling. I agreed to pay child support, but I made it clear that was all I'd provide. Stacy's well-being comes first, and I can't let anything compromise her stability. While having dinner at an upscale restaurant recently, Stacy mentioned she wanted to start her own clothing line and needed an initial investment. Without hesitation, I transferred a large sum to her and promised I'd always support her dreams. She gave me that proud smile again and said, "I knew you'd help. I'm everything to you, right?" And she was. No sacrifice was too great when it came to my daughter. The baby was born a few weeks ago. Alice sent me a short message with the name and weight. I offered to take full custody, saying I could provide a more stable home, but she refused. Instead, she demanded child support and made it clear she didn't want me involved in our daughter's life beyond financial support. It hurt deeply, but I agreed. There wasn't much else I could do. Stacy was still my priority, and I kept telling myself this was for the best. But things with Stacy started to shift. She had begun dating a boy named Tyler. At first, I thought it was just a typical teenage relationship, but soon Tyler became a permanent presence in our house. He slept over almost every night, left his things lying around, and acted as though he already lived there. And Stacy, she changed too. The decisions around the house seemed to be slipping out of my hands and into hers. At first, I thought it was just a phase. I let the small things slide. The unannounced parties, the times they took over the living room, and even the way she ignored me when I asked her to help with house chores. "Dad, relax," she'd say. "That's what you have the maid for." I laughed it off back then, not realizing where this was heading. Everything came crashing down one night when I came home from work, exhausted, only to find my belongings packed in garbage bags by the front door. "Dad, Tyler is moving in. You need to find somewhere else to stay," Stacy said casually, as if she were discussing the weather. I stood frozen, struggling to process what she had just said. "What? Stacy, this is my house," I protested. She crossed her arms and gave me a cold, defiant look. "No, Dad. You told me this is my house. You promised I could stay here forever. Well, now I'm making the decisions." A knot formed in my throat, and my heart sank. I couldn't believe what was happening. The daughter I had sacrificed everything for was now kicking me out of my own home.